Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of Chapter 1. We're already off topic. 3 women, 1 podcast, a safe space for unsafe thoughts. This episode brought to you by Killian's Emotional Damage. I'm Mary.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we're going over the final chapters of Direbound, and this will be our review. We're going to go over the unhinged theories that we got right, the ones we got wrong, our final star rating, and some of our predictions for Furybound that's coming out in May of 2026 that we're super excited for. But first, what is everyone having?
A lot of things. So welcome to my home. So we're starting off with lattes. So we have a pumpkin black tea latte with brown sugar. Sorry, it's my dog.
Same, we know what it is.
It's
this
the
time.
same. We
no
both
Russian
know.
roulette.
We were both having some lovely Sam's Club sponsored. Just kidding, not sponsored. Cranberry orange muffins. And then, when we finished our lattes, because we were channeling Mary, we have a pot.
Ooh, it's the pretty pot too.
It's the pretty pot. And what we're going to do, it's not just a pot of tea. We just have a pot of water. And then I have my lovely tea box where we can choose our teas.
Lots of options on our end
Lots of
tonight.
options tonight.
And she's got like these pretty fancy plates.
They're not fancy.
They're nice. They're not plastic or paper.
Well, they're not plastic, but they're not fancy. What are you having?
So I am also having a pot of tea.
It's your pretty pot.
It's my pretty pot. I am doing a just a plain, like a simple plain green tea, and I have a little vanilla in there for sweetness. And then I made homemade brownies today. These are double dark chocolate fudgy brownies, and Chuck's obsessed. I made this huge pan, and I was like, "You're gonna take some to work because we'll never eat all these." Apparently, we're gonna eat them all. He was like, "I'm not sharing," and there's already a significant chunk missing out of the pan.
Well, I made muffins yesterday. I made some pumpkin chocolate chip ones for the kids. Yesterday morning, I got home and there were 2 left. And I was like, what happened today? And I was gonna come home. I got off early, and I was gonna come home and I was gonna whip up some cookies really quick, but it didn't happen. So thank you to Elizabeth for sponsoring this evening. She did sponsor this evening.
In my own special way, which is throw money at it.
So we're welcoming Catherine into home, and then look at the new color.
Look at that sconce, man. It's gorgeous. Looks really good.
We're going gothic.
I love it.
I do.
Here for it.
All right. So let's dive back into Direbound. We were finishing up the final chapters.
I finished mine an hour ago.
Well, I pulled a Catherine, and I finished mine midnight the night of the podcast last week. But then I forgot a bunch of stuff because I was like flying through it.
Listen, life's been lifing, homie.
So I actually had to do a reread and reread that last little bit so I could do the recap. But we start off where that Marin, after she has her mother's journal, she decides to go back to Stark's office, to his little library, and pull the book that's in there. And we get a little sneak peek at Stark being very irritated by her engagement bracelet.
Which turns out for good reason. Sorry, go ahead.
But she gets the book and she starts flipping through it. And we get like all of the stuff that's in her mom's journal, plus the stuff that's like in her visions. She's seen the crown. She's seen just like all these things that she thought she was crazy for. And it's in there, and it's talking about how the history is basically not what they expected. Or what they've been told, because they've always been told that the king, it started with the sword, and like then they became, bonded with these wolves, and like there was really nothing before that time, but actually there was these line of sternborn queens. So immediately I was like, well, she's gonna be one. She's gonna be some kind of descendant of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was there anything else in the book? There was some drawings. What else was in there?
There are a lot of drawings of the bloody crown. Are you talking about like the book, like the history book?
Yeah.
I feel like that was mostly what.
But then Marin pissed me off again because she's like reading this book, right? And then she's like, oh, all the stuff in here that we hadn't been told. And then she immediately blames like a NASA for not telling her and shuts her out again. And I'm like, have we learned nothing?
I'm gonna tell you what, a NASA is a patient thing. Because
She is.
she's like, for the love, like, why does this have to be the one that I have to deal with? Like,
She did that. I knew she was going to do it, but she did that. And I was just like, girl.
No.
you stupid girl.
Stupid girl.
A little snack, a little slap back to the last episode where we were like, stupid girl.
She's like, Anasta's like a mother and she's like her daughter. Have you ever done anything like, man, if I would have done something like slammed the door in my mother's face, I would have gotten popped so fast. Like,
That's how it feels.
Oh my gosh, that is how it feels. Like, I just can't, the disrespect after all the conversations that they have had. Woman, what is wrong with you?
It was wild. And she's like, I can't trust you. I loved when NASA brought up later. She's like, you talked about not trusting me. How am I supposed to trust you? You haven't given me anything. And I'm like, tell her, man.
She hasn't proven that she can be trustworthy.
Like,
What is up with these main female characters being so entitled when it comes to trust when you haven't done anything to earn it? I'm just saying.
So then we've got Unity.
don't cancel me. I am one. Don't.
I know. If I'm on my period.
So then the Unity
Not for your
trial
period.
is like coming up. We've got like a couple days until the Unity trial, which is like their big final trial. In the meanwhile, Marin goes into some weird depressive, I'm going to lock myself in my bedroom and go through some teenage emo phase. Just like hides in the...
Just like a teenage emu phase is what I want to
So she's hanging out in there. Her friends come check on her. Very, very found family-esque. They come and they like drag her out and they're like, let's do, like, they like bake her an engagement cake, which they proceed to burn. So they may have survived all these
Foreshadowing.
trials, but they would have totally gotten tossed out of like the Great British Baking Show. 'Cause
Right. For sure.
my favorite was like they were like talking about how they had to like dig into the middle to find something. They were like, we're gonna eat it. They like were eating out of the center of it.
To be fair, I feel like we would have done that too.
We would have 100% all done that too.
Remember that time Catherine made brownies without...
Okay, so fun fact, listeners, we had a girls' night, right? We all hung out. We watched what was the documentary we watched?
The one with the,
Oh yeah, what was the name of that?
it's the like ultimate catfish. Sorry if you're hearing my dog.
Yeah.
What was it? It was the mom. Sorry, spoiler.
Spoiler. But it was a catfish one.
What
It was
was the
something about
name?
the phone, right? Like
Unknown.
Unknown number.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We were having like a girls' night sleepover before Mary moved to Asheville. And
So we bought brownie mix, like a box brownie mix. And because we were like, oh, that'll be simple. We'll just throw a couple, because we were staying over at her papa's house. And so she wasn't sure what ingredients he had. So we were like, well, we'll just do it from a box. It only takes like 2 ingredients. Apparently that was 2 ingredients too many. Because
if they were from scratch, it would have been.
Catherine proceeds to make the brownie mix, and she's like calling me into the room because she was like, these don't look right. They look both wet and dry at the same time.
It was like, when you've made these before, because Mary was like, I've had box brownies, and these are like the best box brownies if you're going to get them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And to be fair, we were making them, we were chatting, and I opened the fridge, and I saw the egg. Like, I opened it, I was like, okay, we need egg, there it is. And apparently didn't grab it, just shut the fridge. I don't know. Anyway, and so I called Mary in, and I was like, when you've made these in the past, do they boil?
I've never seen anything like it.
they
Too.
were
They
like-
really did. They look like they were boiling on top. They look like hard. They look like cardboard underneath, but then like some sort of cauldron like bubbling was happening off the top.
She
They
tried
look
it,
like
and she was
freshly
like,
laid asphalt.
I did. I was the only one who tried them. And
she tried
I
it,
don't
and she chewed it for so long. She was like, this is like gum, and I can't do it.
Well, it became like a rock, like the cheap gum, where if you chew it long enough, it becomes like hard, like a rock. That was your brownie.
Yeah, so
So that happened.
I can make brownies. I
I think the best part though was like your papa came home and was like, "Oh, you made brownies," and you were like, "He's like, can I have some?" And you were like, "No."
You're like, those brownies are long gone, and you wouldn't have wanted them when they were here. Yeah, so
The face
Welcome.
Should have told them
were
we
nice.
would have liked brownies too.
yeah, we also wanted.
We also wanted brownies.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Anyway.
so we got some fun burnt cake. And then she talks with Venna about, because Venna's in that pack that's like spies and are good at being shadows. And she talks to her about what she's been seeing in the drains of the arena. That's it.
I'm like, you got it.
That one brain cell's just really having a hard time tonight.
It's okay. It's all the paint fumes.
It probably is. I've been just breathing paint fumes for like a week straight. So then so Venna agrees to like help her kind of be on the lookout for what's going on. So then we get the Unity trial like right after that. But right before then, Jonah like corners her and threatens her and kind of is like, we don't want any common born people in the packs. Like, and it's our last chance to eliminate the unwanted, and kind of alludes that like anybody common born is unwanted and is just generally a Jonah douche because that's the character he is.
It's the worst.
He is the worst.
He is the worst. Next to someone else.
So she's going into the Unity trial thinking Jonah's going to try to pick her off, and she's very concerned about herself. And in the meantime, Jonah has other plans because there was still one common born left. And he knows that since she's an alpha and Stark has already done his whole like touch her and die thing in the last set of chapters, that he can't go after her. So he ends up going after Henry. And that does not bode well. Like,
Y'all, that was
was really
terrible and hard to read because it wasn't just Henry died.
she had to kill him. She had to
Henry's
finish him
wolf-
off.
And what broke my heart was because the wolf was in so much pain, he turned on Henry. Like his own wolf turned and bit him. And it
like the
broke
wolf
my
was
heart.
conflicted
Yeah.
and like wouldn't move.
But he was just in a lot of pain. I have a dog, and I could only imagine if my dog was in that much pain and he turned and he bit me, or I don't know. It really broke my heart. That was like such a hard scene. There's a lot of hard scenes in these last few pages, last
It was
chapters.
a hard scene and it was long.
But it made me so sad. And then again, like what you said, he didn't die right away. He was just hanging on, and he just gave this look, and
It took
was
forever.
Maren, please. Like Maren had to finish it. It was sad. It was heartbreaking.
Well, but all of that was creating like chaos amongst the packs because it was like
Everyone was
the
feeling
Deimos pack versus them, all the other packs, and it was causing chaos, and so they couldn't defend against the Deimos pack. So she had to finish him, which I think in a way was a kindness because they were so much suffering.
And he asked her to.
Yeah, and then they were able to kind of get it together and finish and win and do what they needed to do. So to celebrate, she goes back and bangs Killian because
It got to the point to where I knew he was the big bad, and I was like, I couldn't even read the spicy scenes.
Well,
like
we
I had to
knew-
almost skip
I
because I was
know.
like, I hate you so much.
By this point, there's no reason to like Killian by this point. And so that last spicy scene was just icky. Like
So-
just
it was, and he was like he was so like alpha dom male, like I'm gonna tie you up, and I'm
Are
like,
you afraid? I was like, "Bleh." Like I can't.
We did not like that. We could have done without that.
No.
Yeah. That could have been closed door and we would have been fine.
But so then Venna, right afterwards, comes and like gets her in the middle of the night and is like, I found something. And she has found the kids that were being taken, including her sister, who is being like held in the dungeons underneath. And that scene was kind of heartbreaking because she couldn't get her out right away. She was like, she kept having to promise that she was going to come back for her. And I'm like, girl, get her out now.
I know, because you're just like, danger, danger.
We're just having
Will
a battery situation, sorry.
It's fine.
We got it. Just stick her right, yep.
Is it charged? Yep.
Yep, sure. Sorry. Yes, no, 100% agree with whatever you just said. I'm just kidding.
Again, it's another heartbreaking moment because she hasn't seen her sister in so long, and she's been thinking her sister is dead, still holding out hope. She finally gets to see her, find her. She knows that, or she learns that the king is behind all of this, but she can't do anything about it. Like, she has to leave her sister there. And
That's
I can
really
imagine.
hard. Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? You know Killian, even if you love him and you trust him and all this stuff, you know he knows that castle, right? He knows who's in the fucking dungeons. Like,
yeah.
come on. And what does she do? She immediately goes back and tells Killian. I'm like,
Yeah.
stupid girl. I was so mad.
And then I love, he's like, shocked. And my father?
Not my father. And then she's like, something must be done. And he's like, yeah, someone should do something.
And he's like, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna kill him. And I'm like, when he said that, I was like, oh no. Oh no, he's got something. Because I'm like, what's keeping you from just rolling up into his bed chamber or whatever and just stabbing him? Nothing.
Oh, because it's not part of his plan, Catherine.
That's what, yeah.
It's not part of his plan.
Exactly. So I'm like, you being like, oh, you're going to do it in front of everybody. Like at your graduation. I'm like, you stupid, stupid girl that you would not even question that. Like I read that and I was like, oh, he's setting you up. He's setting you up. And then he turned around and did what he did. And I was like, knew it.
I knew, I mean, let's face it. We knew that he was going to be the bad guy. And that's just the way it was going to be. But what he did,
I don't think I expected all the
I did not. Oh, I know. I did not expect him to be that bad. I mean, we just finished off A Night in the Moth.
Well, I think she did. She did this great job of like, we knew, like you kind of knew there was enough. You could tell it was going to be the the big bad. But he comes across, despite that, despite you as the reader knowing that, he still is like so boyfriendy and like just
so manipulative.
But I love you.
So the betrayal is just so much worse than if he'd just been like evil from the get-go. The fact that like you see the change, you see that like switch.
When he made her out like she was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
The recap. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. Now, everybody's sane.
But so then they plan to kill the king at the graduation ceremony. They show up at the graduation ceremony and the king has a change of plan. He's like, hey, I didn't like the last Unity trial. It was terrible. Like, it was a shit show. So we're going to do a free-for-all, everybody out for themselves type situation. And everybody attack everybody. And because he wanted to eliminate more raw bonds. I don't know. I didn't understand, like, other than him just being a dick, I didn't really understand the purpose of that. Like, were they trying to off Marin one more time? Like, I don't know. But, so Marin works with her pack and they kind of like unify, even though they weren't supposed to be working together. And they end up like surrounding the king. And she takes a sword, the Dyer's blade, and then the sword, and feels all the power from it. And then like she kills the king. And then The minute she kills the king, Killian's like, Killian,
That's what it sounded like.
yeah. Killian's like, Caesar, guards, Caesar, and is like,
Graphic audio.
she's killed the king. Like, it's a big shock. Well,
She
so
uses
The,
the
the
sword.
king is
she
dead.
uses a sword. She offs the king. Killian then immediately is like, oh, why would you do that? And it's like, Caesar, guards, and then like knocks her ass out and drags her to the dungeon because he's a dick.
And puts a collar on Anessa. I was like,
But joke's on them because they could still talk.
Yeah, no, good thing they didn't tell her about the mate. No, good
But
thing NASA
right.
kept it a secret.
And so this is when everything kind of gets revealed to her. So
Well,
keep going with the plot.
Yeah, so first we get Killian going down there and trying to like gaslight her into thinking she's crazy, like Catherine was talking about earlier.
I loved Anessa like growling. Like, don't listen to that. He's stupid.
He's down there just like, I don't know what happened. You just lost it.
I was hoping that this wouldn't
You're
happen.
crazy. You're hearing things. You're seeing things. That's kind of what he told her when he went and visited her. I never said such a thing. Thank God for NASA being in her head saying he's lying. He's a liar.
She might have believed him because she believed him.
And Marin finally listened.
So then
Oh.
Marin orders Anassa to have her mate bring her the crown. And Anassa was very like intentional about the wording and made sure that she told her it was an order. Because
Is that a direct order?
yeah, because apparently like otherwise they weren't allowed to get it.
And she didn't know why until after she got the crown
Yeah.
and had some good old fashioned vision.
So lo and behold, guess who arrives with the crown?
Shocker!
Daddy Stark.
Daddy Stark.
So he gives her the crown and like she starts to get all these visions of basically the past of what used to like what happened leading up to this with the Sternborn queen and like how the siphon, like the king of the siphons came in and they were like attacking and she sent one of her daughters away and had her like skittered off into the commonborns to be hidden away. And you come to find out later that the person who did that was the Sovereign Alpha, which was part of Stark's line, which is why Stark's line has always known about the Sternborn queens. They're not allowed to talk about it, but that can be written.
And is always
So
like,
that's why the books have been written, and that's why they all still know, because otherwise the knowledge was like erased and no one else remembers because it wasn't allowed to be talked about.
very 1984.
Very 1984.
Except
So she realizes, she like comes out of her little vision and she's like, I'm the rightful queen of Nocturnia, aren't I? And Stark's like, yeah. But then he like bows to her and he's like, my queen, and it's real cute.
oh my god,
It was so
the part
good.
I dog-eared it when he said when it was when like all the stuff happened with
Is this where he's like, you are the danger?
no, when he said, give me the word and I'll tear out his throat. All the lives I've ever taken were just training for this moment, my queen. Make me your instrument of vengeance. Let my hands act out your every savage, depraved thought. Use me, I'm yours. I was like, oh! I was like, oh!
And that's how it's done, gentlemen.
I read that. I had customers in the shop, and I read that, and I was like, I'm like hitting the book. I'm like, get it, do it.
Well, and then there's a part, I think it's right. It might be shortly after that where he's talking about like, I don't like, I would tell you not to like put yourself in danger, but you are the danger.
Yes.
Which it explains, and I mean, we all knew like something like this was going to happen because of her hair, the necklace that she had, even the visions were hinting towards that royalty with the crown. I don't think we didn't really know the details as far as this is when we find out that the visions that her mother has had and her ancestors have had is because they were unbonded. And that would have happened to Marin. That would have definitely happened to her.
It was like part of the
But-
curse that they would go crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sucks. And it's like even Stark in the bonus chapter, they like touched on it where like it was like really hard to watch knowing that was
Because it
not
was
who they were
every
destined
protector.
to be.
Yeah. All the protector from his line was watching and trying to keep them safe, but they could not do anything about it. And they just watched them slowly go mad.
Well, and then I thought it was kind of really neat. It was still in the regular chapters from Marin's point of view, but like where she starts to feel all of that arousal and attraction to Stark after the mate bond is revealed of who it is, and Anassa lets her into that side of her where she's feeling all those emotions, which then translates to those with Stark, and she realizes that's what Stark has been feeling the whole time towards her. And you're like,
Which, speaking of, the dress.
And the room.
And the room. Yeah. Yeah. All of that. Not Killian.
And the way that he said
Daddy
it to
Stark.
her.
Yeah.
And the way that he like said it to her. Oh my god. I was like,
Yes.
I hope you feel bad. Because look at what he did for you. He got you that pretty dress that you like, girl.
I just hate that he got her that room to protect her, but then it was like not to protect her at all. It did nothing against Killian because Killian could just come and go as he pleased. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he didn't know.
When he said, he said, do you have any idea what it felt like to watch you at the foraging ball in the dress I picked for you, swirling in your lover's arms and bowing to his traitor father? And then he said, what was the room one?
like, I feel like Stark had every right to be kind of pissed at her.
Oh, 100%.
Who moved you to your own
100%.
quarters when someone tried to kill you in the night? Me. Who's been training you and strengthening you at every turn? Me. Like, it was just kind of like, he was basically telling her, like, all these things that you've been thinking about me are incorrect. Like, I've done nothing but like, she's had this very, like, to be fair, he probably tried to come off like he wasn't.
Well, she was very tunnel visioned from the get-go, right? She
Yeah.
immediately
Go
she
ahead.
hated Stark from in the common, like when she saw him the very first time in the common like areas. She had a bad just this very spiteful leaning towards all of the bonded for a long time. It took a while before she started to accept them as that she was a part of that and that they could be friends. And so yeah, I think she just had this like very one-sided view, tunnel vision view of him. She was so just Killian, hard eyes, popcorn eyes.
Cute.
Very Pride and Prejudice. Like, she looked at him and based on his nobility and
that
his status, she was like, you're awful.
I think that Elizabeth is gonna compare every book that we read to Pride and Prejudice. It's gonna
It is
have
my favorite, Jake.
because like because in Night in the Moth you were like it's Darcy, and then now
Darcy.
you're like this is like Pride and Prejudice.
It's Mr. Darcy, too.
Every male main character, you're like, you know who this reminds me of? Darcy,
Darcy.
100%.
He's so broody, just like Darcy.
Darcy,
Classic.
So Marin decides after the whole crown situation, she decides she's gonna pretend she's got to get out of the dungeons, and she's gonna pretend she's like in love with Killian and going along with the I'm crazy act, whatever. And when Killian comes down there and she's like kind of like making out with him, I don't know. Then then all of a sudden
all these things.
she
and
steals her sword back.
full man.
Good for her.
Good for her.
She gets her sword back, but then like Killian shifts something, like she's like his eyes start to change and he starts speaking in this like different voice, and it is like revealed. This part's a little weird to me, and I still don't 100% get it. I'm hoping we get a little bit more information on it in book 2, because so apparently the king, Alistair Brightbane,
The original.
right, he has been he's been using like humans. They get turned into siphons,
Very
and then
Voldemort.
And
Yes.
they become vessels for him, which I'm a little
He
confused
never
because
died. They thought they killed him off. They did not. So
yeah, and so I'm
he
like,
never
but
died.
siphons can live forever unless you like decapitate them anyways. So I was like, why didn't he just keep being him? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was to be mysterious. Maybe so he could pretend to be
To
human.
kind of infiltrate.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
But
mean, it was the best cover because he infiltrated, he got the sword and controlled everybody, ruled
controlled the
for
wolves.
many years.
And maybe
Yeah,
that
it
was the
was
plan. Maybe the
successful.
plan all along was to then just kind of like not let people think that this. I guess to me, like the siphons had already taken over. Like they'd come into the castle, they took over. So why wouldn't you just take over? But it just seemed like it was a real long game that could have been a real short game, I guess.
Yeah.
but
Well,
um,
I found it interesting when and I'm wondering what this means. So it says, so you have Killian's pupils start to expand and contract alarmingly rapidly. His mouth drops open and his irises roll backward until I can see only the whites of his eyes behind trembling lashes. Then in an instant, his gaze snaps back to me. The voice that comes from him isn't Killian's. Killian got greedy, he says, voice echoing hauntingly. The sound of it is all wrong. It crackles with age, overuse. The desiccated sound of it doesn't match Killian's youthful face. And then she recoils, horrified, all that. But what got me from that is the Killian got greedy part.
Yeah,
Like,
Killian was not. So here's the devious
well,
thing about Killian. He did not have the king in him the entire time. He knew he was destined to be a vessel, and he still chose to be evil instead of fighting that future. Instead of fighting, being like, I don't want to be a vessel. I don't want to be this bad guy. He embraced it, and he sought Mary out, found her, and did all of this again. Like he did. Excuse me. What you
well,
doing?
I think if you look back, I think it was planned by Killian from the get go, right?
Yeah.
He took her sister because he knew she would enlist, then she would become bonded, and she would inherit her powers. But through the bond, he wanted her powers all along. So Alistair has ruled all this time with just the blade. He didn't have like magical powers
so
that you
we're
would get
thinking that he
from.
wanted the crown, and that's why he's saying that he got greedy.
Killian.
Yeah, I think he wanted Marin's powers, or the at least the crown, the powers that come with the crown and the being bonded. Because so like, remember when I talked about like you started to see the Deimos line powers. Jonah showed powers. Stark had shown some powers, but they never really showed her powers. And I kind of was like, oh, but she keeps seeing shadows in the corner, and I wonder if she's going to be a shadow mommy. And
Unfortunately,
but
no.
I think that's the thing is like this was a plan all the way from way back when by Killian to get just her power so he could not only be the king, but he could have all her power too. Um, because then we find out at the very end that he's like using the engagement bracelet to like siphon off her all her power because he's a dick.
So her
But
powers
so
are
he
not
leaves
really
her and he tells her, I've left you a gift. And that gift is we find out she goes to get her little sister, and her little sister like rips out some girl's throat.
Or tries
And
to, right?
She's a
and
vampire or a siphon.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Same thing.
Same
And
thing.
he turned her into a siphon right before he left. So now you have the book ending with she wants to cure her sister. She wants to get the engagement bracelet off and get her powers back, and she wants to hunt down Killian and kill him.
Rightfully
Which
so.
was
And
rightfully
that's going to be tough because he is siphoning her powers through the bracelet. Really, the sword and the crown and all that stuff doesn't have much of an effect on him. I mean, he was just kind of like whatever, so blasé that she got the crown and so blasé that she had the sword back, and he was just like, man, it's not going to do anything.
It was interesting to see Stark actually, because he's always so like hard ass and like tough and knowledgeable and just like confident, and then to see him absolutely panic and was like, get it off, like take it off right now, and like panicking realizing
I
what it was
can't.
doing.
And
Yeah.
that was hard to read too.
I mean, who thought me? I was like, what hand is it on? So, because
Like, just chop it off.
is she left-handed or right-handed? And which one does she use to wipe her butt with? Because that's gonna matter.
Well, we've already gotten, I thought about that too. I was like, how is she going to get it off? And I was like,
Could you just get some pliers?
It tightens when she
it
was
tightens.
trying
The
to
more you mess with it, the
mess
more
with it, the more
it started
the tighter it
tightening.
Okay.
got.
Well, okay.
I'm over here just like, she's already
I'm
shown
like,
some
girl, chop your
self-harm.
hand off.
Let's just chop the hand off. Like, you'll still be hot with
But then
one
I
hand.
was
It's
like,
fine.
I don't know if you're right hand dominant or left hand. Which one you use to wipe your butt off? Because
Well,
your ADL
if
is
one
carries the sword.
If she's right-handed, okay, I don't know how, considering it's an engagement bracelet, not a ring, but that's usually on your left. Mm-hmm. So.
And then we got our bonus chapter from Stark's point of view. And we get to see it cycles back all the way to like the beginning of the book where he's going through the town and he's talking about seeing Marin fighting because he'd been at the front lines and he hadn't checked back in. His whole purpose is to like protect and check in and keep track of the line, the real royal line. And so he had been at the front lines because he was having such a hard time watching them all go crazy. And he comes back to check on them and he finds Marin being a street fighter, but then he finds her with Killian and he's like pissed. Just
What a weasel. I think that's what he called him, like a weasel. I also loved Kratos being like, you're a bore. Loved that. I was like, I hope we get more of Kratos in Furyborn, because
Yeah.
you don't really get a lot of him.
NASA and Kratos, I want to see their interactions. You know?
So we have a little surprise for our listeners for our next episode, and the authors Annie and Eliza from that make up Sable Sorensen, who wrote Direbound, have agreed to answer some questions for us. So we have a bunch of questions that we sent over, and next episode we will be going over their answers, and I'm really excited. But one of those questions is that I'm hoping they will answer is if we're going to get a dual point of view or at least more Stark point of view chapters in Furybound.
I'm really excited for Furybound. This book really, I had a lot of fun with this. Even though, I mean, it was just wild. Yes, there are some predictabilities with it, but I felt I was really comfortable with that. I felt safe with this, and it was still exciting to learn new things. Erin pissed me off, but I still love her as a strong female character. I don't know, man. This one I really vibed with. It was easy to read. It was easy for me to get sucked into it. And I just had a good time. And I love dogs. And I would just be like, if I was there, I'd be hanging out with my direwolf.
All the time.
That would be my
I'm
best
like, what do you
friend.
mean they're going?
No.
Like, no.
She's
hanging
sleeping
out.
with, she's going to be in my room.
Yes.
In my room.
100%.
Like, no. 100%. So, anyway, but I absolutely
That would
love
have been
this
a great
book.
raw bond.
5 stars for me.
5 stars for me. What's your
It was a 4.75 for me. It wasn't quite a 5 for me, but it was definitely a great read. I loved every minute of it. So
I had a blast.
Yeah.
It was good. I will say, the last little bit when all the crap started happening, I was literally like, I was almost scared. Like, I was like reading it and like kind of holding it away, like, no, oh, there it is. We called it. It's happening.
It's happening. We knew it.
But also,
I didn't think it would be that bad.
remember when, like, earlier you had said that you got pissed at Stark because he was talking about, like, whatever's good for the crown is good for
It's
them.
good for
or whatever.
yeah.
And you were like, ugh, whatever.
Well, it's because
But he meant
crown,
it
yeah, went the
in
original
a different
crown.
way. And
yeah.
I was like, ha. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. That's why he could say it with a straight face.
So what are our predictions for Furybound? What do we think?
Well, I think they're going to get that bracelet off somehow. Don't
Yeah.
know
I
how.
hope so.
But they're going to have to do that.
They're gonna have to do it.
It's a 3-book series, right?
Yeah, so they maybe there's got to be more than just the bracelet as a
Yeah.
situation.
Well, I don't think that Killian is going to be taken care of. I feel like that's probably going to be 3rd book material. I think the sister is going to be the main focus, also reestablishing her crown, because Killian is out. Like, it's out now. Everybody knows the wolf. She does have the sword. So one of the positive things is she has the sword, and Killian slash
She has the sword and the crown.
yeah,
Like,
she can rightfully rule. She just can't use her powers against him yet, because he's just going to siphon those powers. But she needs to learn how to control them the best she can. So she's going to have to go into some training on how to learn how to use her powers.
But
Yeah.
she even said that she felt like she didn't have the extent of them.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have her full power.
Yeah. Yeah, who
I think
knows?
we're finally gonna get some Stark and Marin.
Well, considering the moment that little veil dropped or whatever with Anassa, she was just like, "What are these feelings?"
I'll be
So,
curious.
like, I
so,
mean,
so we had all of the spicy scenes in this book were with Killian, and all of those spicy scenes were very much with Killian dominating Marin. And I'm going to be curious because Stark also gives Alpha Daddy.
She likes a little bit of that. I mean, when she
Yeah,
can
and so I'm
prepare
like,
for it.
are we going to get more of the same, or is it going to be different? I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
curious. I would like to. I can't. I'm
And
excited.
how fast this is going to occur. I mean, she's been through a whirlwind of emotions. I mean, she trusted Killian for years before all this came apart, and he just took her heart and just obliterated it. But I feel like her relationship with Stark will be easier because of the bond. So that'll be interesting to see how fast she's like,
Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna like if there's gonna be some back and forth at first of like, you know,
because her
not
sister,
want
like,
not wanting to cave to it so
yeah.
fast.
And is she going to be feeling guilty? How can I do this? to
Well,
my
and I
sisters?
do think there'll be some issues coming into play where she's going to question whether those are her feelings or just Anassa's feelings, and whether she actually has feelings for Stark. And so it'll be interesting to see if they build up like a connection outside of just the bond.
yeah, I am also interested in that because, like, I saw like a few people like commenting. They were like, is the attraction because like is it almost forced, or do they actually like?" But I mean, I guess it's similar to
I
like
also
the quote unquote
I
mate bond. I guess like with the
Yeah, I'm also wondering about her sister because at no time has anybody ever talked about there being a cure for the siphons.
now
So
she's talking about trying to cure her sister.
yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
is there a cure? Is there
I'm
not
like,
a
is there a
cure?
difference? Like, is a siphon really like vastly different from a vampire? Because like, if it's a vampire, like homegirl dead, like she's all cullened out. So, but if there's a cure, like Vampire Diaries, um,
Well, and didn't it? Wasn't there an ex? am- I'm reading I'm reading a couple vampire books. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Was there not a little spot where it was like fed, if they fed from them, that they certain ones they became feeders? Like if they fed from them and killed the like I don't know.
I don't think so. That does not ring a bell for me. But then again, this was a thick book.
I just started that book.
And I feel like we didn't do a deep dive into what we found. Like, I feel like we didn't learn a lot about the siphons. And what little we did learn was, I don't feel deep enough for us to really know how the
It
system
might
of the siphons
it might
work.
have been my other vampire book because there was also some stuff about enthralling, and I don't think that happened in this
We
book.
might learn more. That might be a prediction for Fury Bound, is that we might actually learn more about. Like,
Are you
we were at a
reading
point.
on what is that called? On Blood of Wings or
On Wings of
Wings of
Blood.
Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you reading that?
Yes.
I literally just picked it up, and like today at lunch, and I came across that word "thralling," and I was
Yeah.
like, "Are you
So
reading that?"
yes. So I'm a like 65% through
I'm
that
like
one. And
8%.
I'm also reading Tourist Season by Bryn Weaver, and I'm enjoying that. And what else?
Are you
was
reading
I?
Red Rising?
I picked it up and then I set it down. And it's not because I did not want to read it. I just I was reading it and Tourist Season, and Tourist Season ended up winning out between the two of where my brain was at this moment. So I will probably pick Red Rising up, mainly because Tourist Season, even though it's like she said it's a trilogy, but like I think it's like her other books where they're each standalones, and I really needed I needed a standalone. I'm like, I've got so many series going. I just
I'm
needed a
halfway
standalone.
through Red Rising, and I'm really liking it. The only thing is that I keep like I've been reading this, and like life has just been doing life things, so I haven't been able to read as much as I've wanted to. So I've been trying to just make sure that I do this. So since next week we're gonna be going over the questions from Sable Sorensen and then announcing the next book, I'm gonna try and like knock out the rest of Red Rising this week.
So funny.
Go ahead.
Funny story. I had to go run to the store and pick up some ingredients for my brownies that I did not have.
Excellent.
Cocoa powder.
Don't
and,
we know what happens when you don't have the eggs.
and dark chocolate, because you have to like melt chocolate down in it. But anyways, so I'm at the store. I'm picking it up, and then I was like, oh, there were some books, and they had like a little section with like some books that were out that they were featuring, and I like was looking at one, and I was like, oh, this one's like a little dark romance. It was kind of giving, it said it was like a cross between Pen Pal, which you read, Catherine, and you liked ish,
I read that.
and Yellowstone. It's supposed to be like a dark cowboy romance, right? And we've done some cowboy romance. We enjoyed them. So it's like
It's
dark
a paranormal cowboy.
well,
romance?
it's like a dark cowboy romance. I think the pen pal comes from because she's like writing him in prison when it starts. But anyways, the list of triggers on the first page was real long, right? So I get said book, right? And I'm carrying it with me, and I go up to the front, and I got my cocoa powder, my chocolate chips, and my book. And the self-checkouts were not working. They were like working on them. So I had to go through
I gave
like
Pen Pal a 2.5.
strong on the ish on the like.
I was like, when you said it, I was like, did I like Pen Pal?
So I'm in line, and I put my stuff on the little cart thingy, and then there's like, it's like every senior citizen in town was getting their groceries. And so I was behind one older lady, and I had another older lady behind me, and I only had a couple things, so I put out my little divide, because she had a whole cart, so I put out my little divider. Now I think she was feeding every cat in the town, because her entire cart was like fancy feast, just of various sizes. So she's putting all her little cat food up on the thing, and she kind of stops, and I see her look at my book, and she like flips it over. And she looks at me, she goes, well, this looks like a really good book. I think I should get it. And I'm just like, I've never wanted to crawl in a hole and just melt into the earth as much as I did in that moment.
Says the woman who, at book club, asked a certain book club member, who I will not name just to protect the innocent, how they enjoyed Neon Gods.
But okay,
And
but
this
I
was-
knew her. And
That's almost worse, Mary.
I knew she'd read it. I don't know this woman.
This
She
is
could
like
be.
her putting the book and going
She
into
could-
Brendan's line and saying, "Hi, Brendan," and then he picks up the book.
Jane.
I don't know, but
Wow.
I was like,
Based off of not
I was
knowing
like,
him
please
at all.
please don't get this book. And I'll
not,
pick a different
not
book
because
for
of
you.
me, at least. Like,
Yeah.
I'll never forget you being
Like, I feel like a James Patterson might be more a Nicholas Sparks.
well, apparently, aw. You're saying. Sorry. Although Nicholas Sparks' new one is with M. Night Shyamalan,
Okay, but I kind of want to read it because
and I
I'm
hear
curious.
it's like paranormal.
Yes, because M. Night Shyamalan and him got together. I watched a little thing that they did, I don't know, it was like a little video thing that they did where they explained it. So M. Night Shyamalan wanted to like do the movie part. And so Nicholas Sparks mostly wrote it, but M. Night Shyamalan kind of helped him guide him in what he wanted to like produce as far as a movie. So they collabed on it.
So
And
is
he
it
wanted-
really going to be turned into a movie?
It is, and it's already like in production.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
from what I understood was that they did it together in the sense that it was always going to be a movie. And M. Night Shyamalan was basically going to be kind of prepping it in the movie sense while Nicholas Sparks was writing.
Writing it,
Okay.
yeah. And that he
Maybe
wanted,
this
he
could be our next
specifically wanted it to be a paranormal romance.
Do we want that to be like a December book?
And I'll say this:
I don't think it's that thick.
M. Night Shyamalan must have had a say in the setting because it is in
It's
Cape
not
Cod.
North Carolina.
It is not in North Carolina. I was like, what?
Is it not? Is it on the coast somewhere?
It's in Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
Okay, so it's still on water. I'm like, you can't take Nicholas Sparks away from the beach. Give that man some water.
He was like, listen, we can venture out of North Carolina, but you gotta give me something. We gotta meet in the middle.
He needs sand and a deck.
So we'll table that maybe our next read.
A lot of people are liking it. I don't know. I haven't read Nicholas
Well,
Sparks
we
in a
can
hot
read
minute,
it
so-
and judge it.
Yep. And then we can watch it.
Watch it. Girls' night. Woo-woo.
What I'm actually really excited for is I was talking about it yesterday to Cassell.
Voting on duck stamps. Is that what you're excited for? Because that's personally what I'm super excited for.
Although
That's your thing.
yes, is the How to Sell a Haunted House movie
Oh, I want to watch that.
that is supposedly in production.
I want to watch it.
So I would like to see that.
I feel like that's going to make a better movie.
I feel like we're gonna have to go as a group on that though, and I'm gonna need to sit in the middle
I
because I'm gonna.
I'll just be honest. I don't love puppets to begin with, or dolls of any kind. So I might be hiding my eyes.
It's so
We can just
campy.
go together and we can
Let's-
bring some blankets.
So
we can bring Dwight, although he might also hide because that child was afraid of Scooby-Doo. Like,
Bet he hated Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I don't know if we
So
did that one.
we could go to
You haven't seen
Asheville.
Courage?
No.
Muriel.
We went okay, so we went to watch, I don't know, like the Minions or something, and they were doing like the previews, which it was a bold choice because they did like a preview for The Boy before we watched it. And Dwight, like, he like hid under his chair.
Aw.
The
He's gonna really appreciate this in the future.
yeah.
He's very aware of his fear of scary movies. I think he's
So
grown out of
I
it
don't like scary
a little
movies,
bit.
but I'm hoping. What my hope is.
But you
is
read
that
it,
they-
you know what's gonna come.
I read it, and I hope one that they don't take too many liberties. 'Cause I don't want to be surprised.
Because you don't want to be surprised.
And
like I know when to not look.
Can we skip the needle in the eye scene?
Oh, I know. But
I know.
then how are they gonna
You
get to the
know they're-
Waffle House?
You know they're gonna freaking do that. But
It's
also,
gonna happen. I'm gonna have to shut my eyes on that. I cannot.
I hope that they keep it campy and humorous
yeah,
I do too.
I'm sure they will.
because that's
Is
the only way
Grady-
I'm gonna be
does-
able to
There's
get
no
through
other
Do you
way
know if
to do
if
that.
Grady got any sort of control? Did he just sign away all the rights, or did he get some creative control in the
that.
movie?
I have
No
no idea. My hope is that he's good because the thing is that for one, I don't see how you can make a hand puppet like, you know,
So
like not funny, you know, in series. Because I mean, here's me though. Okay, when I first started reading that book, I had to have James sit next to me, and I had to hold his hand while I read it because I was literally. What's funny is when you read it, you have to look at it, but like I was almost doing it like I was watching it. I was like,
I did that with the needle in the eye scene. I was like,
And
"Goodness."
then
I ended up having to
It
close
really-
yeah, that did it for me.
one thing that I can give Grady Hendrix credit for is that he knows how to make you feel things because like I'm reading it and I'm like I have the heebie-jeebies like I don't.
Well, and even in some of his older stuff. So I just finished not that long ago my best friend's exorcism, and it wasn't even the violent or the gory scenes. It was like a main part of the book was when the like demon gets in her best friend. Part of what she does is try to alienate her from everything in her life. the school, her friends, right? And and rip everything away. And the way he wrote one, it was so nostalgic. It was such a good time because it was like all 80s fabulousness. And he did a fantastic job with that. But also, and it was campy and it was fun. So you still kept that, but also it ripped your little heart out because you remembered being a teenage girl and how hard it was when all your friends would turn on you, and then amp it up times 1,000 because you've got them
Demon.
in almost a realistic sense being able to get where she was going to get kicked out of school, where no one believed her, everyone was turning against her. Just all her little insecurities, it would pick on all of her insecurities because she had where she'd had pimples, and then she was.
What demons do?
I would hope that if I came to y'all and was like, I got a demon, y'all be like, you know what?
Exorcism.
I would have been like, Catherine, how did that happen?
Be like,
What's
you have
funny
the
though?
Holy Spirit, girl. How did that happen to you?
What did you do?
So I was giggling during this this
You've been
part.
listening to some lies.
Because The Exorcist is part of this group of these muscle guys, right? These workout guys that would travel around to high schools and do workouts, working at pumping for Jesus, and they'd give these talks. Huh? No, they didn't. The one guy just was gonna do an exorcism because he could see the demon in her.
Okay.
But anyway,
Grady Hendrix, don't question it.
I was over here
So you just have to accept.
just the traveling workout exorcisms.
yeah. So they're doing this whole
out.
they're doing this whole school production where they come and they're pumping iron for Jesus, and it's done in this humorous way because he's because you remember those cheesy school things that you used to have. They would come and talk and do stuff, and they were usually kind of dumb.
We've never had Catholic priest exorcists come to our school, but sure.
I hadn't either. And apparently, I was telling my husband about it, and he goes, that was a real thing.
I did not. We did not have it out here in the county, I'll tell you that.
Apparently, it was quite popular.
I went to a school run by the Baptists. So, I can't imagine them being I would have died if Pastor Doug Barber, would have been you know what? It's time for the exorcisms.
There's just one part where he's I have days I have trouble lifting it, and it's so heavy, but then Jesus takes the load.
Oh, well, now that I have heard stuff like that. That I've heard. But the exorcisms less.
Well, of course it's high school kids, so they're load.
It's still real.
It's hot.
But yeah, I did not know that was a real thing, and then I ended up having to YouTube it, and it really was a real thing.
They come in and they say, "Hey, go to the army," and then they also say other things. No, going back. So when I was reading How to Sell a Haunted House, when I was first reading it, I was really scared, right? And then when you start by the way, spoilers for How to Sell a Haunted House. When you start realizing that it's the hand puppet, and the way that it's described is that the puppet is doing things and the person is just in this zombified state. Once we got to that, I was okay, now it's kind of funny. Now I'm laughing because wait. Then when they had the traveling, puppet coalition or something that, I was what is happening? What?
It was the squirrel nativity scene.
No, not the squirrel.
The squirrel nativity scene.
Nope.
I was what am I reading? What?
Well, and then it became didn't it become a giant spider?
No, there was
You're getting confused with Stephen King.
I was gonna say he really tapped
all
into
the
Stephen King.
Did get together. Oh, spoilers, because this is literally the end of the book.
In the description.
Arguably the spoiler.
This is the spoiler. But yes, all of the things in the house.
But you should still read it because it was fantastic.
All the puppets get together. There's more than one. But all of them get
It
together
doesn't sound that fantastic in a description.
No, but there was
It was really good.
she had it wasn't like an imaginary, it wasn't an imaginary friend because it was a mean guy, but it was like a dog spider situation. Do you remember? And it was like in the attic, and what was his name? Oh, it had a name, and it was like attacking her, but she was like, "Is it real?" But like it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. Do you remember this? And that was where a lot of us got confused in book club because we were like, because this puppet is like a real thing, but this other thing was like a figment of her imagination, but yet it's like.
I think it was a figment of her imagination, and her mother made the puppet.
Was
To
it?
help. I can't, y'all, this was, how long ago did we read this?
Like
Her
2 years
mom
ago.
was
I
a
have a hard time
psychotic
remembering.
human, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The more that we learned about the mom, I was like, someone needed to put the mama in a hospital, because geez Louise.
Well, she's dead by the time we
Well,
read
one
the
thing
book.
he wrote well though was
Because
the brother.
they were running from the puppets. Wasn't that what it was? She was trying to get rid of the puppets.
Yes. I really liked how he wrote the brother-sister relationship, though. That was my favorite part of the book.
What?
I liked how he wrote the brother-sister relationship.
Yeah,
That was
it's
my
where we
favorite
get
part.
pizza Chinese from.
It is where we get pizza
Waffle
Chinese.
House.
We love pizza Chinese. It is where pizza Chinese was born.
So, Mary, you need to find out what theaters we can go to, because we'll come up and visit you, because your theaters are probably going to be better than our theater.
Okay, but we might want a crappy theater.
We might want a crappy theater.
I'm like, I don't need it in like 4D. Like, I don't need like.
Did you know, though, that what we have on the 18th is we're having like a brimstone party, apparently, at one of the breweries. A brimstone release party.
Oh crap! You
that's
know, I gotta
cool.
go and try and find me a copy because I can't like just order me one.
Oh, yeah, I guess I need to pre-order it.
I special ordered it through the little books.
This is the girl that's taking my place.
I guess I can go to Lynchburg again.
Next thing I know, they're gonna have a podcast. They're gonna be throwing balls.
I think she's just busy with her trying to keep it running. Speaking of balls. I mean, y'all will already know because I'm going to announce it on the Instagram before this episode hits. But welcome to Chapter 1 events. So if any of you enjoyed any of the Dog-Eared Page events that we hosted,
Surprise! It's us under a different name.
so including things such as the Equinox Chapter 1 and A Night on Mount Olympus.
The original.
The original.
So we will definitely be having the Equinox Chapter 2, which is going to have a little bit of a different vibe. Think dark, forest, witchy, cottage core. Just a really good, just
Into the woods.
into the woods. Moss.
Into the woods.
Maybe with less singing. I mean, unless you want
Hansel
to.
and Gretel. But maybe with
So we're excited for that one. That'll be next.
OG Hansel.
That'll be in the fall of 2026. But we're also looking at some other events, including some not ball
Cowboys.
events, just literary immersive events. So,
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
We're just gonna keep drinking.
That too. These are not psyched.
They're not. They're not. I'm about to, but no, I'm just kidding.
That Earl Grey is hitting.
Yeah, it's getting to me. Anyway, yay events.
You know, Captain
Yay,
Picard
events.
on the Star Trek Enterprise enjoyed his cup of Earl Grey.
That's me, Captain Picard.
Make it so.
Live long and prosper. Wait, didn't he? I don't even think he said that, right?
He did not.
It was the other guy.
it was the other guy.
Chapter 1 events! Woo!
Yay!
Yay!
Ooh, maybe we can have a sci-fi themed. No, wait, mother.
Catherine and I were both like, yeah, like a spaceship. That sounds good.
Dad would love that.
Silence, crickets.
Dad would be all over that. Dad would be all over that.
Welcome
Very
to
select
Mars.
few.
Also, you know what I also think would be kind of a cool idea?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure. But also, I think,
More cowboy
Norse kind of,
mythology.
yes, but like
Gods?
maybe like Scandinavian kind of Norse kind
Viking.
of deal,
Viking.
Viking
Like a Viking
kind
bone.
of vibe.
Vikings.
The only reason why I say that is because Steven, not Walker. Stephen
Henderson.
actually brought that up to me, and because he's really into that, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. I don't know if it would, be any sort of draw, but
We have more
seems like very
ideas
wintry.
than time.
That's true.
But
Well, I'm about to have all kinds of time. I'm about to be swimming in time. Well, not swimming. Maybe treading in time.
You have 2 young children. You will not be swimming.
I was going to
in
say
time.
I'm not going to be swimming in time. There will be some time, but
Plus, you got to beta read my books, so.
Oh,
Heck,
yeah. Please send stuff.
No, give me stuff in person because I will see you.
Oh yeah, that would be preferable. Yeah, last time when we left the Renaissance Fair, Mary texted and she's like, "I'm home," and I was like, "Great!" Now turn around, come back.
I know. It made me so sad because I thought I was going to see you on Sunday and then I didn't, and then I was like, oh, like I didn't know that when I left her last night that I wouldn't see her again for a while, and I was like, this makes me all sad, and yeah, that's the end of that story.
I did procrastinate leaving. I was going to leave in the morning, and then I did not. I didn't leave until
We
like
still have to
2,
do
3
our
o'clock.
toasted yolk trip.
We do.
We never
Dwight
did
said
that.
all he had for you was hot dogs.
Yeah, we didn't eat at home.
He was like, Mom, I thought it was cute though. 'Cause he
Well,
was
I
like,
brought him the cookies. I brought him almond cookies. He did make
said
me
that-
hot chocolate. He did not like the hot chocolate that he made, though. He made like a fancy hot chocolate, like a super fancy hot chocolate. But it had peanut butter in it, and it ended up tasting very peanut buttery.
Ew. Yeah.
He was not a
said
fan.
That it was cute though. He said that Mom came to visit, and I was like, I was like, oh, I don't know, it's cute. And it was like the way he said it.
He's
And
all grown up.
He's
when
all
you
grown
say
up.
things like,
Yeah.
Mom came to visit because you're not there 24/7 anymore. So
Yeah.
you visit.
And
now.
he was like, and it was very obvious I hadn't been to the grocery store because he was like, all I had was hot dogs. And I was like, did you eat the hot dogs? And he was like, no.
No. No, we went out to King Crop that first night when I got back, and then we were at the Run Fair, like
Which
literally
I
all
wanted
day
to go to
Saturday.
King Crop, but I had to go trick-or-treating with the kids.
Yeah.
Which also it was not really like the best time anyway because that was when the official changeover happened, like at 6 p.m. So I was like a mess, and then I had to walk all over freaking Main Street, and then my dang bronchitis pneumonia started acting up, and so I'm like wheezing and coughing while trying to go to each of these houses, sounding like a dang smoker.
What was funny though was I got home, and I never drove once after I got home because Dwight was like insisted on driving everywhere. It was real cute. He's like, I'll drive you.
I told him, I was like, I'm going to Tennessee next week, but the following week we need to schedule something.
So next week, we will be doing a special episode where we will be doing the questions that we submitted to the authors of Direbound, and they will have given us their answers, and we're going to be going over those and also introducing our next book coming up. We will be doing a little bit something different for the month of December since we are coming into the holidays. So we will be reading some kind of shorter, simpler books, and we will be doing 2 books for December. So we will just cover 1 book in 2 episodes. So something to look forward to. But in the meantime, if you are enjoying, hit like, hit subscribe, and join us next week. Bye.